Season's greetings, happy holidays, finishing off the year with a Q&A video, my favourite video to film, answering your DJ related questions that you have been sending in via my Instagram post that I put out a few days ago. Launching straight into it then, is it cool to play the same track more than once in the same set? In my opinion, no, you should not need to do this. Even if your set is like 5 or 6 hours long, you shouldn't need to play the same track twice, because there is so much music out there, and if you structure your night correctly, then you will avoid playing the popular songs too early. But it does come with a bit of experience, and if you're getting hounded for requests, I would just say, look, I'm going to play it later, or I've already played it, and move on with it. Moving swiftly on to another request related question. How do you deal with the people who shove requests in your face when you are playing? Yes, these days so many people will just shove a mobile phone in your face. Back in the day, we actually had people write down their requests on little bits of paper, but gone are those days. To be quite honest, I try and ignore it. I'll first and foremost ask them quite kindly just to come and speak to me, and then let me know what they want to hear, rather than shoving the phone in my face. If they are persistent with it, I just put my headphones on and continue mixing. I don't mean to be rude, but I do find people shoving a phone in your face quite rude, so I just try and get on with my night as best as possible and don't pay too much attention to it. I have no idea about cams. I'm guessing you mean cameras. What generally the specs I should look for when buying a streaming camera? If I'm really honest with you, cameras are not really my specialty. I mean, I film all of these videos on the Canon M50. I think the Canon M50 Mark II is a good streaming camera, but also as well, there's this new, it's like a webcam really, but it's an Insta360 camera, but it's got AI built into it. I think that's quite good for streaming, but I guess it depends on what you want to do with it. I mean, most mirrorless cameras have got HDMI out, so you can stream on that, or I think you can even stream on a GoPro. So there's lots of options. To be quite honest, I'd probably recommend looking at some camera dedicated YouTube channels rather than this one, because it's not my area of expertise, unfortunately. What are the challenges around DJing at Christmas time? It's a really good question, a very timely question given the season that we are in at the moment. Christmas is generally a very challenging time, and for the reason that if, say, your typical nightclub or bar that you're working in normally has an age range of, say, 18 to 21, at Christmas time, that all kind of goes out of the window, and the age range can be a lot wider, from like 18 right up to 40 or 50, because there's obviously Christmas parties happening, and people generally venture out like once or twice a year that don't typically come out every single week. As a result of that, the main challenge is holding the dance floor. I feel like you have to play a lot more broadly, a lot more across the board, and also as well, like, you will get people coming up to you really early in the night asking for like the number one tune at the moment, when really you're not going to play that until much later in the night. So I think a lot of the time you have to be resilient, you have to stick to your guns, and you have to have a degree of patience. But yeah, it's definitely quite a challenging time. I think as well, some people enjoy themselves a little bit too much, but hopefully as well, the venues are generally a lot busier at this time of year as well, which is always good. Next question then, and this comes in from DJ_Everson. Massive shout out to this guy, actually. If you haven't checked him out, check out his channel down below. He's done loads of really cool live streams in some really cool locations here in the UK, and he has bagged himself a DJ residency, I think fairly recently as well, so just shows that hard work really does pay off. So he asks what my worst experiences as a DJ have been. So one of the highlights that I always come back to, and this sort of sticks in my mind is a really challenging time, is I used to work on Serato back before Serato was Serato DJ Pro. It used to be called Scratch Live, and then they made the transition over to Serato DJ, but it wasn't very stable, and I think I jumped onto Serato DJ a little bit too early from Scratch Live. I was DJing in Bristol in front of 2,000 people, and Serato unexpectedly quit on the laptop, and there was a lot of unhappy people. I got booed. It was really embarrassing. Anyway, loaded Serato back up, and literally 10 minutes later it did it again. And yeah, that was honestly horrendous. The dance floor started clearing, the manager came up and was like, what's going on? And it was a really challenging night, and for the rest of that night I actually played off of USBs, but my USB sticks weren't as comprehensive as what my Serato music collection was, so I had quite a limited range of tracks to play. So that's definitely up there as one of my worst experiences. On to the next question then. What's your advice for DJs turning up to a gig with poor or faulty equipment? It's a really, really good question, because especially here in the UK, I don't know where you're based, equipment in nightclubs and bars is very, very hit and miss. Sometimes it's old, sometimes it's new and it's great, sometimes it's faulty, as you've mentioned, sometimes they don't even supply equipment at all. So it's very, very hit and miss. All I would say is, if it's a brand new venue that you've never worked in before, try and get some information ahead of the gig so that there is no surprises when you turn up. You know, what equipment is in the booth? Is it all working? Is something a bit dodgy, like a jog wheel or a play button or whatever? Are you going to need to bring your own controller along? Because if you have all that knowledge before the gig, then there aren't going to be any surprises. What I would say on this matter though is, clubs not maintaining or supplying equipment is a massive, massive pet hate of mine. And it is partly down to DJs why it's got like this, because I've worked in clubs and bars before whereby the equipment is fine, it works, and the DJs come along and they've just put their own controller on top of the CDJs and the mixer. So it's like, why is the club providing equipment when you're just going to use your own anyway? There is no incentive, therefore, for that club, A, to supply equipment, but B, to maintain it. If possible, use the CDJs, use the mixer. And if the club knows that you're only supplying something because something is broken and you can't do it every week, or it shouldn't be the norm, then maybe that club might maintain their equipment a little bit better. So just bear that in mind. In my opinion, a club should be providing DJs with equipment. If you're a guest DJ at a festival, that guest DJ is going to ask for specific kit, and it is exactly the same in bars and clubs. On to the next question then. And this is, what are your best tips for when you have a low energy crowd? These questions are actually really, really good. When you've got a low energy crowd, number one, this could be to a number of different factors. This could be, number one, just the type of person that's in the building. Maybe they're there to chill more than dance. Maybe they just don't like dancing. Maybe it's because you're playing an extended set and people are in for a long period of time, so they haven't got the energy to dance all night. Or maybe it's because they've all consumed far too much alcohol, so they're all over the place. There is so many different factors that go into this. What I would say is, though, in order to try and maintain the energy in the room, don't play anything too obscure. Play it safe is what I would say. And that usually means playing quite commercial is what I would say. In my instance anyway, in the types of venues that I work, you've got to play the crowd-pleasing stuff that's going to appeal to the majority. Also as well, a lot of it can be about how you structure your set. You might want to take it up a bit, bring it back down a bit so that everybody's got a bit of a breather, then take it back up again. Like, try and monitor the energy levels in the room, because if you try and kind of hammer it all night, like high energy, people are just going to get tired and they're going to leave. I have got a video on how to structure your night as well, so do check that out down in the description down below. And then my final question for today: what are your goals for 2023? Congrats on the new residency. Oh, thank you very much. First and foremost, if you haven't checked out my last vlog, do check that out, where I show you the new club that I'm working in. In terms of goals for 2023, I really do want to up my content game a little bit more. My videos, I've always tried to post one YouTube video a week. I know that's been a little bit kind of here and there. I try and post regularly still, but I've missed a few weeks. I've had a lot going on this year with regards to moving house. So I want to try and get that kind of nailed a bit more. In terms of DJing, I'm quite happy like ticking along. I work every week as a resident DJ, but yeah, I just really want to continue focusing on YouTube, continuing giving advice, videos to you guys. And yeah, sort of part 2 of my move as well will be taking place next year. So when I'm fully settled, hopefully I'm going to have more space. I want to do more tutorial videos, showing different mixing techniques, more unboxing videos. So really the focus is YouTube for me. I really enjoy making these videos. I really enjoy sharing my advice, my thoughts on things, anything DJing related with you guys. So that's where my main goal is, really. So there we have it, a few questions answered for you guys. Just wanted to say a massive thank you to anyone that has watched this video and any of the others on the channel this year. Honestly, the views, the comments, the likes, that is what motivates me to create the content and share with you all. And I really enjoy helping you and helping you to reach your DJing goals. All the best for 2023, and I will see you very soon.